Chapter 16, The Dawn of a New Galaxy. The galaxy, once a silent, complacent expanse under the heavy blanket of the Council's lies, had exploded into a cacophony of truth. Following the Veritas Protocol's broadcast from the ancient beacon of truth on Xylos Prime, the carefully constructed facade of Grand Admiral Theron Vane and the Council crumbled. The silence was shattered by a billion voices demanding accountability, their cries echoing from the bustling metropolises to the farthest forgotten mining colonies. On the small hidden research outpost, disguised as an asteroid mining station, Alara Reese stood before a multifaceted holographic display. Her eyes, still red-rimmed from unshed tears for Rex, absorbed the tumultuous galactic news. Riots simmered on core worlds, citizens tearing down monuments to Vane and the Council's false heroes. Independent news feeds, once fringe, now dominated the airwaves, dissecting every revelation from the Veritas Protocol, unearthing deeper layers of corruption. It was a maelstrom of change, exhilarating yet terrifying. Rex Vance, the irreverent space trucker who had unknowingly stumbled into history, had with his final defiant act sparked a revolution far grander than anyone could have imagined. His sacrifice was the crucible in which a new galactic future was forged. Ghost, ever the unreadable phantom, stood beside her, his mirrored visor reflecting the chaotic, flickering images of a galaxy reborn. Alara felt a subtle shift in his presence, a quiet acknowledgement of the profound shift in galactic power. His usual detached efficiency was now accompanied by a nuanced observation, a flicker of something almost akin to wonder, as he watched systems, once thought unbreakable, tear themselves apart and begin the painful, messy process of rebuilding. For Ghost, who had navigated shadows his entire life, the sudden, overwhelming light of truth was a new frontier. "The Council is reeling," Ghost's synthesized voice hummed, devoid of emotion, yet carrying the weight of his analysis. "Their authority is collapsing. Planetary governments are demanding autonomy. The Federation military is fracturing into loyalist and reformist factions. The initial shock is giving way to active rebellion. The Council's desperate struggle." On Coruscant Prime, the seat of galactic power, the Galactic Council's High Tribunal was in utter disarray. The majestic halls, once filled with solemn pronouncements, now echoed with desperate arguments and panicked accusations. The Veritas Protocol had not only exposed Vane, but had implicated countless high-ranking officials in the subsequent cover-up and systemic corruption. Footage from inside the tribunal, leaked by reformist elements, showed councilors openly weeping, others shouting in denial, and many simply staring aghast at the undeniable truth displayed on their own screens. Public outrage was a physical force, battering against the gilded doors of power. Several councilors, facing immediate arrest warrants from newly empowered independent investigative bodies, attempted to flee, only to be apprehended by their own security forces, many of whom had seen the Veritas Protocol and were now questioning their long-held loyalties. The very foundations of galactic governance were shaking to their core. Valerius's unlikely path to atonement. The fate of Commander Valerius proved to be one of the most unexpected twists in the aftermath. After retreating from Xylos Prime, his shattered Shadowkeepers scattered to the winds, their fanaticism broken. Valerius himself, a shell of his former self, was haunted by the Veritas Protocol's raw, undeniable revelations. The man who had preached order and believed in Vane's vision with every fiber of his being, now saw the monstrous lies he had served. He disappeared for weeks, a ghost seeking answers in the uncharted depths of his own despair. Then, in a stunning development, he resurfaced, not as a threat but as a reluctant broken witness. He established a secure, one-time contact with Alara. His face, visible through his now cracked visor, was gaunt, his eyes filled with a terrifying, profound sorrow. "The Admiral, he used us all," Valerius rasped, his voice raw with pain. "He twisted loyalty into fanaticism, order into tyranny. He dishonored everything. He provided Alara with crucial intelligence, hidden Shadowkeeper caches, encrypted communication frequencies Vane's remaining loyalists still used, and a list of high-ranking Federation officials secretly tied to Vane's agenda. "I do this," he told her, his voice trembling, "not for redemption, for I may be beyond it. I do this to honor the truth that Rex Vance died for and to atone for the lies I served. He woke me, Alara. He woke us all." After that call, Valerius vanished again, his path now one of solitary atonement, a shadow fighting shadows, seeking to dismantle the very darkness he had once embraced. His future was uncertain, but he was no longer Vane's weapon, the Crimson Dagger's strategic advantage. Meanwhile, the Crimson Daggers, true to their nature, thrived in the chaos, turning galactic upheaval into strategic advantage. Crimson Blade contacted Alara regularly, her voice a mix of professional assessment and grudging respect. "Your little truth bomb exploded nicely, Alara," she'd purr over the comms. "The information market is booming. Every faction, every rebel cell, every disgruntled corporate entity is seeking verified data. We're brokering deals that will reshape entire sectors, ensuring a free market that favors those who control the information flow." She wasn't just observing, she was actively participating. Crimson Blade and her daggers ensured the remnants of the Shadow Keepers, still desperately loyal to Vane's twisted ideology, found no safe haven. They were hunted relentlessly, their hidden bases exposed, their operations disrupted. The daggers, seeing profit and influence in dismantling tyranny, became an unexpected ruthless force for a new kind of justice, one carved out by information and leverage rather than ideals. Their brutal efficiency, once a threat, was now a chaotic but necessary ally in the dismantling of the old order. Alara and Ghost, the guardians of Veritas. Alara, with Ghost's unwavering silent help, began to act as a central hub for the burgeoning truth movement. Rebel cells, independent journalists, disillusioned Federation officers, and even some reformist counselors contacted them, seeking guidance, validation, and further data from the Veritas protocol. They became the quiet, steadfast guardians of the truth. Alara tirelessly worked to verify new information, discredit the desperate, last-ditch council propaganda, and ensure the Veritas protocol remained accessible and unfiltered across every comm frequency in the galaxy. It was a daunting task, a constant battle against the remnants of the old order's misinformation, but one they faced with fierce, unyielding determination. Ghost, her silent partner, her shadow and her closest confidant, ensured their work continued unimpeded, his unmatched stealth and hacking skills neutralizing threats before they even materialized. He was the invisible force behind Alara's visible leadership. Their most profound work, however, was in reconnecting with the Libertonians. Whisper, their ancient telepathic ally, guided Alara and Ghost to several of their hidden enclaves, small, secluded communities of Libertonians who had miraculously survived the Great Scattering by living in secret, patiently awaiting the day their truth would finally be revealed. Alara, with her brilliant scientific mind, helped them integrate with the wider galactic data networks, sharing their true history, their advanced pacifist culture, and their philosophical principles with a receptive, shocked galaxy. Ghost, with his unparalleled stealth and network penetration abilities, helped secure their hidden worlds, encrypt their communications, and ensure their anonymity until they were ready to fully emerge from the shadows of persecution. The reunion was deeply emotional, both for the Libertonians and for Alara. For centuries, the Libertonians had been a forgotten, maligned species, dismissed as a myth or a vanquished enemy. Now they were a vibrant, living testament to resilience, to truth's ultimate triumph over oppression. Their gentle telepathic voices, once confined to hidden networks, began to resonate across the galaxy, offering not just a historical account, but profound philosophical guidance, hope, and a clear path towards genuine interspecies reconciliation and a more enlightened future. They became the moral compass for a galaxy adrift, the dawn of a new era. The coming years would be challenging, fraught with uncertainty. The fall of the Council was not instantaneous. It was a slow, painful, and often chaotic dismantling, rife with political infighting, economic instability, and desperate attempts by entrenched powers to cling to their influence. New factions emerged from the ashes of the old order, some genuinely seeking justice and reform, others merely aiming to seize power in the immense vacuum left by the Veritas Protocol. The galaxy was a turbulent ocean, its currents unpredictable. Alara, once a quiet, unassuming scientist, found herself thrust onto the galactic stage. She wasn't leading armies or commanding fleets, but she was leading the charge for intellectual and moral reform. She became a powerful voice for open information, transparent governance, and true interspecies cooperation. Her passion, intellect, and the undeniable truth she championed made her a formidable force. Ghost, her silent partner, remained her shadow, her protector, and her closest confidant, ensuring their crucial work continued unimpeded by those who still wished to suppress the truth or twist it for their own gain. One quiet evening, as the initial dust of the Galactic Revolution began to settle, Alara stood on the observation deck of their small, unassuming base. The stars shimmered, no longer distant, indifferent points of light in an oppressive cosmos, but a vast, hopeful canvas for a galaxy finally free to choose its own path, to learn from its brutal past, and to build a future based on honesty. He would have loved this, Alara whispered, a faint, sad smile gracing her lips as she thought of Rex. The chaos, the genuine fight for something real, the idea that common folk could tear down empires with a simple, undeniable truth. Ghost stepped silently beside her, his visor finally off, his young face once so guarded now showing a hint of the deep weariness he carried. His method was unique, unconventional, but effective. He died for this moment. And now we live for it, Alara affirmed, her voice filled with a new fierce resolve that echoed Rex's own indomitable spirit. To ensure his sacrifice wasn't just a fleeting spark, but the blazing start of a true, lasting dawn for the galaxy. To ensure the Veritas Protocol guides us, not just reminds us. The galaxy was on the cusp of an extraordinary, new era. The old lies had been exposed, the powerful brought to their knees, but the rebuilding, the true transformation, would be harder than the tearing down. Alara and Ghost, the accidental heroes, the unlikely duo, stood ready to face it. They were no longer just a brilliant scientist and a phantom operative. They were the guardians of Veritas, the quiet, determined architects of a galaxy built on honesty, transparency, and the enduring legacy of a space trucker who simply wanted to do the right thing. Their journey, the journey of galactic transformation, was far from over, but the path ahead, though challenging, was finally truly their own. The stars awaited, a silent promise of endless possibilities in a galaxy forever changed.